Beginning. The man no one respected. On the neutral space station Helion Verge, a place where species from 100 systems negotiated, traded, or threatened one another daily, Commander Elias Rourke was used to getting stared at. Not the good kind of staring. The Terran peacekeeping uniform was simple, dark navy, decorated only with a silver insignia on the chest. Functional. Modest. Definitely not intimidating. Not compared to the hulking, armor-plated alien races that stalked the station's halls. Certainly not compared to the Draven Warclads, a warrior species whose armor looked like sculpted obsidian and whose reputation could terrify star pirates. Elias heard the snickers the moment he stepped into the main concourse. "Look at the fabric skin," one Draven muttered in a voice like grinding stone. "Is that a uniform or funeral drapery?" Another growled. "A Terran peacekeeper?" A third scoffed. "Oh, so he's a bureaucrat." Elias didn't break stride. He kept walking, boots clicking lightly on the metallic floor. He carried no helmet, no visible weapons. That only made the Draven laugh harder. "Where's your armor, soft flesh?" one taunted. Elias tapped his sleeve. "Wearing it." The Draven roared with laughter. He didn't mind the jokes. Humans didn't have natural plating, oversized musculature, or 7-foot frames. Humans didn't need those things. What they did have was better. Training, strategy, adaptability. And Elias Rourke? He had mastery over all three. But today wasn't about proving anything. He was here for diplomatic clearance. He had orders to remain peaceful. Unfortunately, peace wasn't in the cards. Not with the challenge that was about to erupt. The challenge of the war pit. The source of the mockery was clear. Platform C-12, where the Draven were hosting their annual honor conclave, a gathering of their strongest warriors. Elias simply had to pass through the area. He almost made it. Almost. A clawed hand dropped on his shoulder. "You walk with too much pride for something so fragile," rumbled the largest Draven, a hulking brute named Karnak the Splinterbone, towering nearly 8 feet tall. Elias looked up calmly. "Please remove your hand." Another Draven laughed. "He doesn't fear warriors. Perhaps Terrans are dumber than we thought." Karnak leaned close. "I challenge you, Clothskin." Elias sighed. "I'm not here to fight. Peacekeepers don't." "You dare refuse?" Karnak snarled. "Coward." The entire concourse went silent. Draven customs were rigid. If challenged in public, declining meant disrespect, not only toward the challenger, but toward the entire warrior caste. A dangerous situation on a station loaded with plasma reactors. Elias rubbed the bridge of his nose. He had hoped to avoid this. But sometimes, diplomacy required a small demonstration. "For the record," Elias said slowly, "I am accepting only to honor your culture, not because you intimidate me." The Draven roared with amusement. They escorted him toward the war pit, a circular arena used to settle disputes without threatening station safety. As he stepped inside, 5 Draven champions entered with him. Not one challenger. 5. The crowd howled. 5 warriors, someone shouted. The soft flesh will be pace. Elias glanced at the station's chrono display. 10 seconds. That's all he would need. Middle. 10 seconds that changed everything. The war pit door locked behind them. The Draven spread out, circling him like armored wolves. Karnak slammed his fists together with booming thunder. "You may strike first, soft one. For all the good it will do." Elias rolled his shoulders. "No. You attacked my dignity first. I insist you go ahead." Gasps echoed across the pit. Mockery flew from the stands. But Elias was calm, focused, observing. The Draven were enormous, but they were predictable. Heavy armor, limited peripheral vision, slow pre-attack movements. Everything Elias had trained to exploit. A war drum thundered overhead. Begin. Second one. Karnak charged first, huge steps shaking the floor. Elias sidestepped, a blur of efficient motion, and struck 2 fingers into the exposed pressure node beneath Karnak's plated collar. The giant's muscles spasmed. He collapsed instantly. 1 down. Second 2. A second Draven swung a massive energy hammer. Elias ducked beneath it and swept his leg under the alien center of balance, impossible to do to someone twice his mass, unless you knew precisely where to strike. The alien flipped backward, crashing into the wall and knocking himself out. 2 down. Second 3 to 4. The third Draven tried to grab him from behind. Elias didn't bother turning. He snapped his elbow backward, striking the warrior's tracheal cluster an unarmored vulnerability. The Draven gagged, dropped to his knees, and collapsed. 3 down. Second 5 to 7. The fourth warrior lunged forward with a plasma blade. Elias caught the Draven's wrist, twisted, and redirected the blade into his own armor's deadweight shoulder, stunning him through layered plating. The Draven fell face first. 4 down. Second 8 to 10. The last warrior was hesitant now. He took a cautious step. Elias stepped forward faster. 1 soft tap to the alien's temple. A precise nerve strike. The Draven's eyes rolled back. He hit the floor with a seismic thud. 5 down. 10 seconds exactly. The concourse exploded into shocked screams. The warpit monitors replayed the fight in slow motion. Even slowed down, the moves were nearly impossible to follow. Elias dusted off his uniform. Next time, he said coolly, don't underestimate human engineering. The Draven stared at him in disbelief. This cloth skin had dismantled 5 elite warriors without breaking a sweat. But the fight was only the beginning. Because someone important had been watching. Someone whose arrival would twist the fate of the station and Elias's life into something far bigger. Chapter 2. The House of Crystal Blood. A high-ranking Draven noble, Lady Threxia, arrived at the war pit's balcony. Her armor gleamed with obsidian blue sheen, marked with symbols of the ruling bloodline. She was no mere spectator. She was the heir apparent to the Draven dominion. And she was furious. Her voice boomed across the arena. Commander Elias Rourke, you have humiliated my warriors. Elias stood straight. Only after they sought to humiliate me. The Draven crowd murmured, some angry, some impressed. Threxia raised a massive arm. Step forward. Elias obeyed. You defeated 5 champions, she said. No human has ever done that. I'm full of unpleasant surprises. Some of the Draven laughed. Threxia did not. She leaned close. I wish to understand how a soft flesh fights like a storm. You will demonstrate your abilities to my personal guard. Elias shook his head. I'm a peacekeeper, not a performer. The crowd gasped. Refusing a noble was unthinkable. Threxia stiffened. You dare. Yes, Elias interrupted. Because I am not your property. Silence crashed through the war pit. But instead of attacking, Threxia studied him with newfound interest. You are bold, she said softly. Perhaps too bold. Then, unexpectedly, I respect that. The mood of the entire station shifted. Yet Elias felt something else lurking behind her words, something dangerous and political. He would soon find out what. Chapter 3. Peacekeeper versus Politics. Later, in the diplomatic wing, station officials scrambled. You challenged a Draven noble's authority, Ambassador Levin groaned at Elias. Do you realize she could demand your execution? Elias shrugged. I'm not afraid. You should be, the ambassador hissed. Threxia's father commands half the Dominion military. If she takes offense, then she shouldn't have condoned mockery. The ambassador rubbed his temples. Before he could continue, a heavy knock rattled the door. Threxia stepped inside. Everyone froze. I require a private audience with a peacekeeper, she declared. Elias raised an eyebrow. With me? Her sharp gaze pierced him. Now. The ambassador had the expression of someone praying to every available deity. Chapter 4. A Proposal of War. Elias followed Threxia to an observation deck overlooking the stars. She stood with hands clasped behind her back. You fight with precision, she began. Intelligence. Honor. Thank you. You embarrass me. Elias exhaled. You're welcome. A beat of silence. Then, unexpectedly, I need your help. Elias blinked. Come again. Threxia turned to him. A faction within my dominion plots war against the neutral systems. They move soon, perhaps within days. And you want me to stop a war? I want you to train my personal guard, Threxia said, to prepare them for what is coming. Your techniques, your speed, your strategy. I need it. Elias crossed his arms. I don't train soldiers for war. I train them to prevent it. Then help me prevent one, she said. If this faction rises, millions will die. Elias studied her closely. What do I get out of this? Threxia stepped closer. Protection, influence, and the end of hostilities between our species for generations. It was a tempting offer, but there was one problem. What proof do you have of this rebellion? Elias asked. Threxia's face darkened. Come with me. Chapter 5. Shattered Loyalties. Threxia led Elias into a hidden chamber beneath the station's reactor. Inside were stolen weapons, encrypted data pads, and armor marked with sigils of the Draven extremist faction, the Bloodstone Order. Elias's blood chilled. They weren't preparing for a war. They were preparing for a massacre. They want to destroy Helion Verge first, Threxia said. Blame it on the Terrans. Force the Dominion into open war. Elias felt cold. How long until they strike? Hours. He paced. We need to evacuate sections A through F. No, Threxia snapped. Evacuation will alert them. If they detonate before we contain them, the blast could annihilate the entire station. Elias stopped pacing. Then we take them down quietly. He looked her dead in the eye. Together. Threxia nodded. You have my warriors, she said. And my blade. Elias cracked his knuckles. And you have a peacekeeper who dismantled 5 of your champions in 10 seconds. Ending the station that should have died. The Bloodstone Order activated their explosives. They never got to detonate them. Elias and Threxia's combined teams stormed the underlevels in a flawless strike operation. Elias took point, neutralizing threats with surgical precision, disarming bombs, disabling extremists, and redirecting crossfire away from civilians. Threxia, meanwhile, cut through armored insurgents with terrifying efficiency. But the decisive moment happened in the reactor chamber. The leader of the Bloodstone Order, General Vroth, activated the final detonation sequence. Elias sprinted across the chamber, sliding beneath a blast shield, launching off a railing, and striking Vroth's neural node with the same precision he used in the war pit. The general dropped. Elias grabbed the detonator and deactivated it. The station breathed again. The war was stopped before it began. After the dust settled, Threxia stood before Elias, battered but proud. You have saved not only my people, but the peace of 3 sectors, she said. I mocked you, yet you are stronger than any warrior I have known. Elias shrugged. Humans surprise people. She bowed deeply, an honor Draven rarely offered. I pledge alliance to you and your people. Elias chuckled. All that because of 10 seconds. No, Threxia said, because you earned respect the hard way. And from that day forward, whenever anyone mocked the Terran uniform, they remembered the legend of the peacekeeper who dismantled 5 elite warriors in 10 seconds and saved a station that should have died.